Let's talk UFC 241 for all the early morning people in the world. What's up? Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Right? Let's get to it. Hopefully, everybody's been having a very wonderful day. Let's talk about it right now. UFC 241. What did you think about it? I love it. You know why? Because I got paid. I always get paid. I knew Stipe would knock out Doughboy, and I always knew Dana White knew Doughboy was going to get knocked out. That's why he kept Stipe out of the ring for over a year and wanted to deny him his rematch. But shouts out to Stipe, who knows Dana White is a piece of crap, decided to wait out a whole year. Said, nope, no. I was the champion. I deserve my rematch. I'm not gonna let you put me in some other fights where somebody else can try to beat me so you can keep the belt away from me. Nope, I want my rematch. And he got his rematch. And you couldn't do it, Dana. He sat out the whole year. He forfeited money, promotional sponsorships, everything. He sat out just so he could get his rematch. And when he got his rematch, what happened? Doughboy magic. It was over. It was over. Box Doughboy up. Look, DC is a average is an average wrestler, and he's good at beating some of the guys who are really not that good. He won over Stipe by pure lucky shot. And that did it. That made Dana White very happy because he doesn't like Stipe. And Stipe doesn't like him. Now, here's the thing. How many times does John Jones have to beat up on Doughboy? Doughboy need to retire. Doughboy, you made some good money. Dana took care of you. You very much overachieved. You're not good enough to beat John Jones because you can't beat an athletic boxer. He don't need the dope to beat you. You're too easy to be hit, Doughboy. So unless you're gonna take that fight serious and really work out and get in some type of conditioning or shape, you're gonna be sitting over there, relaxed, going to sleep again, Doughboy. John Jones wouldn't lose to him at no heavyweight. He would knock Doughboy out. John Jones is just saying that. If John Jones is at heavyweight, he would knock Doughboy straight out. The same fashion. It'd be step, kick. Weeble wobble, and here it come. Doughboy. Listen. The easiest money. That's why I like betting UFC fights. It's the easiest money I've ever made. Who is Doughboy? You don't know who Doughboy is? You mean to tell me you watch the UFC and don't know who Doughboy is? Everybody in here know who Doughboy is. I've had this mic for a while now, but I'm glad you finally noticed. Everybody hit the like button too, man. Come on. What's going on? We talking UFC 241. Something we almost never talk about on this channel. But you finna get it all. Today was the day. Yesterday, last night was the day of the screwed. Everybody who was screwed over had their day. Stipe, who's a fireman, also kept himself in shape, trained on his own. He wasn't training with the UFC staff and nothing like that. Nope, training on his own. Now, the question the world got to ask is, why was you keeping Stipe from getting his rematch, Dana White? If that was Conor McGregor, the rematch would have been in 3 months. You knew Doughboy was going to get knocked out. The same way I knew Doughboy was going to get knocked out in the rematch. You was hoping and praying he caught Stipe again with a shot and luckily knocked him out. This time around, I knew what was going to happen to Doughboy. And you knew too, Dana. You was trying to hope Stipe fall for the trap. Drain him out. So that way you can go ahead and put Doughboy in another match with somebody else and make Doughboy look good. He had to fight Stipe and have him go out in the sunlit blaze and like retired in sunset and he's the greatest. Nah, sorry. Doughboy had to go to sleep. Time to go night-night, Doughboy. Pop. Pop, pop, pop. Did Doughboy do anything in the fight? Did Doughboy do anything in this fight that made anybody believe he had a shot? From the start of the match. You had Doughboy winning that fight. Doughboy was laying on top of him. Doughboy was laying on top of him. He fell on him just because of exhaustion of all the fat and blubber all over him. You call that a slam? He was winning the fight. He was never going to win that fight. He was going to get knocked out. You see the shots he was taking? Did you see all that stuff he was putting in his bread basket? Doughboy was... And he cracked Doughboy with a good 1-2. Crack, crack. Doughboy was fighting. He over here. Doughboy fighting the cage. Man. Unbelievable. What happened? What happened to Doughboy? Doughboy was winning the fight. Maybe to you, Doughboy was winning the fight. Maybe in your imagination, you actually believe that this guy was winning the fight. I was watching a whole different type of fight. The fight I was watching, it was a matter of time. I'm sitting here like, yep, here it comes. Here it comes. Boom. Down he goes. Down goes Frazier. I knew the knockout was coming from round 1. Ding, ding. I knew Doughboy was in trouble. You guys didn't know it, but I knew it. The judges had it winning. The first round. Do you know what was happening in the first round? Do you know what was happening in the first round? The first round, he's being able to work. Stipe is forcing Doughboy to use up all this energy. It's like saying Conor McGregor was winning against Floyd. He was never really in the fight. But I guess most of you guys are MMA people, so you guys really don't know too much. Don't forget to hit the like button coming through the door because this is finna get real in a minute, and I don't think you want to miss it. See, Stipe was forcing him to be more active, which was going to tire Doughboy out a lot quicker, which would mean Stipe's conditioning was a lot better than what his conditioning was. Stipe was doing grapple wrestling with black belts and purple belts, and he was staying in condition. And the fact was, it was a matter of time before he catch Doughboy with a shot. And pretty sure it wasn't long. Did you see Doughboy mouth hanging wide open? Did you see Doughboy mouth like, and he just kept going downstairs to the body. Boom! Hit him, touch him in the body, then come up top with a 1-2. Right hand, overhand right, jab, overhand right, pop, pop. And he kept that going. And you guys didn't see it because you guys are counting rounds and action. Like, yay, DC won round 1. Look at him go. And I'm looking like, there you go. I guess DC was looking real good, burning up all that energy. Then you know what Stipe said? How about this body attack I'm finna put on you, big boy? I'm gonna knock a steak out you with this kick. Bam! That whip kick to the body. Walk out! Doughboy felt that for the whole night. He's feeling it right now while he sleep. Doughboy never knew what hit him. So after that, Doughboy was ready to take a nap. And he finna go take a number 2 in the toilet stall in the UFC arena, wherever they was at. He was ready to go do. He was like, why am I still standing up? Let me go to retirement. Baby, help me get to the bathroom. John Jones is fine doing what he's doing. He's beating up anybody that gets in his way at the weight class. What happened to George St. Pierre? I thought he was going to fight him. Why is George St. Pierre ain't stepping up to get his head knocked off? That's what you need to be talking about. We got to get rid of all these bums. See, this was what the event was supposed to be about. That fight shouldn't even made it that far, but it was driven that far. It was a matter of time before he was going to sleep. Oh, well, that's just, to me, Stipe, they say, oh, he took a risk. He didn't take no risk. He knew he could beat. He's like, look, I can beat Doughboy any day of the week by knockout. He knew that. I just need to get Doughboy in the ring. He gonna get tired. I got better conditioning this time. I'm dropping Doughboy. All I need is to get this fight past 3 rounds. He's done. Just like Conor McGregor. Fight go past 3. Oh my God! Look up the Irish. I've been predicting UFC fights for how long now? Y'all should just know whatever I say. When Conor was undefeated, what I tell you, he gonna lose his very next fight. Oh, he ain't gonna lose. He's Conor McGregor. He can destroy the world. He gonna lose his next fight. Then they put him in there with Nate, and they beat the crap out of him. I laughed so hard. That was so much fun. Oh, I won money last night. I won good money last night. I'm going to collect it today. I'm finna collect it today. People, you just know boxing. You don't know nothing about UFC. You know what you know about UFC. I'll be like, well, I know UFC before you was even born. I knew about UFC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was there when it started. before Dana White even started. Now, don't forget. 5 dimes, sir. That's your answer. And don't forget to hit up the Cash App and leave a donation in the Cash App, or you can hit me up in that Streamlab. Streamlab is beautiful. Streamlab is so beautiful. It's so choice. I highly recommend using it for yourself. It's so choice. My name is Carcino there. You guys can leave a donation there and show support for the page if you like everything you're hearing on the page, especially in the last 3 days. Yeah, it's been pretty wonderful. It's been pretty interesting around these times. Oh, yeah. And we finna get to that. We gonna get into all of it. We gonna get into all of it. Don't even worry. Don't think we slowing down at all. We are just getting started. Now we went through that screw job of what happened, and everything got set right when Stipe won and got the belt back. Now everything is back right in the world. Now let's go to Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz. When the last time we seen Nate Diaz and Scott, what's his name? Scott Pettis. If I'm saying that right, it's not Scott, it's Anthony. Anthony Pettis. That's it, Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis is what? A journeyman. He's a good fighter for about 2 rounds. He's a good fighter for about 2 rounds. He throws pretty kicks, pretty combinations, but he ain't going to be able to take it. He's been in too many wars. He's what you would call a gatekeeper. He was somebody that Conor McGregor was going to come back to fight. And he's just not a guy that, not anymore. Pettis is not the same fighter he used to be. And don't anybody believe that he is. Now, Nate Diaz has been out of the fight game for how many years? Years. You know his last fight is when he got robbed against Conor McGregor in the second fight. 3 years. Like Marcus Maxwell just said. 3 years. Three years. Why was Nate out 3 years? Because he beat Conor McGregor, embarrassed him in the second. They got their win, and they tried to run off into the sunset. And then they tried to put Nate in some mismatch fights and tried to avoid the fight when he wanted his third fight with Conor McGregor. Conor went to fight Floyd, got waxed, and then he didn't get him to come back. Dana didn't want that trilogy. No, he want it now, though. He want it now, though. Dana White is trying to build a Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor trilogy fight. Now he wants it. You know why? Because now he needs it. Conor McGregor can't fight any of these other guys. They don't bring in any money. He has a contract with Conor McGregor, and it's for a mega amount of money. And they don't make that much money no more. Do you think that Stipe card last night made a lot of money? No, it did not. But it was probably one of their best cards. Now, I will give the UFC credit when its credit is due. They have been putting on better fights this year than they had last year. All of last year. You could just wipe last year out besides the mega fight with Conor and Khabib. Other than that, scratch the whole year. This year has been much better for MMA fights from UFC. I guarantee you that right now. Yep, hold on. Yeah, more than a LeBron. That's right, baby. 3-6. That's right. You can get yours. We got them in the Teesprings. You can order your shirt. More than the LeBron shirts. We got the tank tops. We got the leggings for the ladies. We got it all laid out for you. That's right. I'm more than a LeBron. This is a real microphone. Now, let's get to it. 3 years out for Nate Diaz. Do you know why? It's because they were trying to build up Sage Northcutt and Paige Van Zant. They're Baywatch stars. They're showpieces. Meanwhile, you had all the other fighters who were really putting on great fights, weren't getting any promotion whatsoever. You let them fizz on out. And these guys were winning great fights on the cards. Nobody's seeing them and promoting them because you're promoting people like Sage Northcutt and Paige Van Zant. Poor Paige, she was just on TMZ promoting the fact that she's had 3 surgeries on her broken arm that she keeps breaking, and now it's back healthy. So now she's finally able to train again. So she ends up on TMZ. She's talking about she wants to fight 4 more years. And this is her last fight in the UFC by contract. This is her last year of she has 1 more fight in her contract. Then she wants to go back into renegotiation. Paige Van Zant, I don't think this is for you. I think you should take a seat and go and commentate. Now, let's get to the fight with Nate Diaz, who's been out for 3 years. Who do you put him up in and get in the ring with? Anthony Pettis. Nate Diaz and Anthony Pettis is the type of fight that's going to bring excitement. It's going to bring action. Pettis is going to do a lot of spinning around, spinning fists, all the unnecessary things. And Nate is just going to come forward with strikes and kicks and knees and conditioning and be there for the whole thing. Now, Nate is taking a lot of punishment, which makes his reaction time very slow. So if you're somebody with good reflexes and go off counter strikes, this is perfect for you. So if you're Conor McGregor, you're going to make a really good first 2 rounds with Nate, but you ain't going to knock Nate out. So Nate's going to be like, all right, whatever. Like the drunk guy at the bar who's going to keep coming, and he's going to outbeat you because he's going to outlast you. Oh no, he wanted Nate to win. Don't believe that. He wanted Nate to win. He just knows dealing with Nate Diaz, he can't screw with Nate. Nate sat out 3 years because he wasn't stupid. He wasn't gonna get out there and let Dana White try to screw up his career. He's like, you gonna make me fight this guy for no money, and you basically, I just got out of the biggest fight in UFC. Conor didn't make that money alone. He made that because he was fighting me. So look, don't think like Nate Diaz don't bring no money to the table. People know who Nate is. They're not stupid. So Dana White gonna have to pay him. And he's like, I know what I'm worth, and I know what I'm bringing to the table. So you're gonna have to pay me. D style boxing. I saw him up in here. Why Dana's so cheap? Yeah, well, it's not that he's cheap. It's just that this is the only way they can make money. So you got to understand that the UFC is not packing them in the way they used to. UFC is not breaking the bank like it used to. Things have changed. Well, I am with the dark side. I roll with the dark side. Everybody knows that. Now, let's break this down as matchups would go. Anthony Pettis was in over his head. It's only a matter of time. Now, Nate Diaz has been out 3 years, but he still should have finished this fight. He should have finished Pettis. Pettis was out. He was done, and he survived to go to the cards. Now, what's that setting up? Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 3. Now they can pay the big money to each guys because people will pay to see that fight. Now you back in the game. You needed a big pay-per-view for Conor to come back. This is the big pay-per-view. Then you notice how they're keeping Khabib away from Mr. Ferguson, the guy he should have been fighting by now, the two best in the division. Any other sport, boxing, they would have been crucified for not fighting. The fight was signed before the Conor McGregor fight because Conor left the division. Left because he didn't want to fight neither one of them. They were scheduled to fight. Then Khabib got injured all of a sudden. So it looks like Khabib is ducking him. Yep, hold on. This summer cold is killing me. Now, back to it. Back to it like we always do it. Don't forget to hit the like button coming right in, because it's just getting started. We almost 30 minutes in, and we still rolling. Doughboy got knocked out like I thought he did. Won that fight. Nate Diaz won. I did pick him to win by a knockout, but he been out 3 years. But still, he won. Romero lost as predicted. I knew Costa would beat him. I thought Costa would finish the fight though. The kid Benitez, I don't think he's even ready. He got a bunch of wins early, but he's never won no real significant fight to me at featherweight. Yusuf beat him. I think Yusuf is on his way. He's gonna really do some things in the division. Has a lot of talent. Don't know what happens though if you really get him to the ground and somebody really push him that way. Well, if anybody, I don't believe in that Ian guy anyway. That Ian, he hasn't been proven. That's just a warm up fight at middleweight. Derek Brunson just walked right through him and beat him up. Basically, got the decision. That fight didn't really interest me too much, but I didn't expect anything out of Ian. He showed some toughness though. There's some potential there if they don't just use him as a piece of meat. Somebody can get him and really work with him. He'll be all right. Oh, Manchester United, we pumped up after smacking Chelsea around. Things are coming back to normal. You see City get robbed? Yeah, it's coming back to normal over there. Now, let's get back to the goodies. Now, why are they keeping Khabib away from Tony Ferguson? Because they know Tony Ferguson would destroy the money. Tony Ferguson has a very good chance of beating Khabib. But that's the fight UFC fans want to see. But UFC fans, you guys are so stupid. You guys don't put the pressure to Dana White and crush his balls on a fight that y'all want to see. And that is the problem. Y'all just take whatever they give you and you just get drunk, and you guys are not like boxing fans. Boxing fans will hold you to your feet to the fire over a fight that they want to see. You're going to hear about it every day. Now, how many times have I heard any of you mention Khabib versus Tony Ferguson? You will hear it for about a day. Then you don't talk about Tony Ferguson no more. Tony Ferguson has been screwed over for the past 3 years. And they keep putting him in fights with everybody else, hoping somebody beat Tony Ferguson. Because they don't feel like they can make any money with him instead of Dana White doing his job or promoting him. That he's supposed to be the promoter, right? You're not gonna be a draw if nobody's promoting you. Dana White's not. How many times does Dana White talk about Tony Ferguson? Tony Ferguson is talked about on every MMA station, every MMA weekly MMA thing. He's one of the highest ranked MMA fighters in the game, and you don't even mention him in interviews. Oh, Doughboy is retiring. Of course, he should have been retiring. He looked retired in the ring. He got relaxed. Doughboy got put in the relaxed chair. Doughboy just sat down and went to sleep. No, UFC, what you would say UFC died. UFC died when it lost its personalities. See, the thing is, UFC was built by personalities. You had characters. They not only could fight, they were real fighters in the game. And you promoted the real fighters. Now everybody's trying to look for that WWE showpiece and make into a fighter. And Dana White didn't know what to do, so he just started trying to go for ratings and pay-per-view numbers. And let's get Brock Lesnar versus Shane Carwin. The man has the biggest hands I've ever seen. And you guys were stupid enough to buy these type of fights. And it became a joke. And then you start putting real fights underneath these joke fights. And back then, you weren't building up the talent. You had talent there. You just needed to promote it. But you didn't believe in it. You didn't believe in it because you didn't know how to do it. You inherited something. See, when you came in, it was guys there who naturally had talent and personality. Randy Couture was there. Chuck Liddell was there. So you had personality. You had Tito Ortiz there, who was your friend, your buddy. Tito was there. These guys was already in the UFC doing what they do. And Chuck Liddell just came up out the blue and carried the sport on his back. You never had a fighter like Chuck who was knocking him out. Bow, the Iceman. Chuck Liddell carried this sport on his back and built it. The place was erupted when Chuck hit somebody and put them to sleep. You had nothing. You had nothing. So you want to get to go try to buy out Pride and take their fighters because you took Chuck Liddell and put him in the Pride tournament. Chuck Liddell fought in the Pride tournament and he won the first fight, then he lost the Rampage in the second one. So you wanted to put Rampage versus Chuck Liddell rematch in the ring. If Chuck Liddell was Chuck Liddell, Kaya David, his one dimension that you say Chuck got, that one dimension was all Chuck needed. Because when the Iceman touch you, you going cold. You going cold. Iceman can hit. Trust me. You don't want to play with no Chuck Liddell. I wouldn't play with Chuck right now, even though he's he's shot. His time is come and gone. He would more than measure up today. He'd knock these bums out. The guys y'all think are so great, they'll be knocked out in seconds dealing with old UFC fighters. Don't even play. This is a sideshow. You put Nate Diaz in there with Chuck Liddell knocks him cold. He's out. You gonna see Nate not get up. Chuck crack him, he ain't getting up. He'll get up tomorrow. He's gonna be all right. I'm ready. Well, I'm up at the count of 9, dude. That fight was 2 weeks ago. You take Chuck down and the case is closed. You know, I mean, he fought Randy Couture. Do you know who Randy Couture is? Do you know who Randy Couture is, right? Do you know what Randy does? He takes people down, right? He's one of the best in the world of all time at taking people down. But Nate Diaz is going to be the one to take down Chuck Liddell. I mean, now he would take Chuck down, but in his hey, do you know what he would have to go through? Chuck got one. He's the ice man because he makes your body go cold on one shot. Stop it. Okay? Stop it. Do not compare. Now, if Dana White wasn't messing around, he would definitely have a talent flooded league right now. People wouldn't be trying to go to Bellator. Why is Cyborg leaving the UFC? She only had one loss. You lied to the whole public of the UFC and tried to make it sound as if Cyborg didn't want the rematch. No, you didn't want that rematch. Even though I feel Cyborg would have lost again, it's too much of a risk for you. Because if Cyborg wins that fight and beats Amanda Nunes, she's in a better bargaining position. Dana White don't like her because she's not stupid. And when she comes to the negotiation tables, their team is very good at negotiating. And he's like, man, their bargaining chip is up. And that's going to be harder for me to deal with. So he says, man, if this happens, I'm going to be in trouble. See, I've been with the UFC since UFC 1. UFC 1. When no one was watching it, I was watching UFC 1. I went to Blockbuster Video and get the videos when they was filming them in Denver. I had to wait for them to come out on video so my friends could see it because they was only out on pay-per-view. Back then, pay-per-view was a lot cheaper for UFCs. And we had illegal cable. So I get to see the UFCs. Then when they was on Blockbuster, I would rent them and take them to my buddy's house. And they saw Hoist Gracie. We was at 00 House watching Hoist Gracie fight. UFC 1, UFC 2, UFC 3, UFC 4, UFC 5. So I've seen the Dan Severns. I saw the Tank Abbots when he came into prominence. I've seen everybody. Ichihara, I've seen all of them. Seeing how the rules change. You used to hit people in the balls. It was legal. When Keith Hackney punched the guy in the balls and won the fight, it's on YouTube too. He just viciously did a combination to the guy's balls to win a fight. Oh man, that was brutal. That dude was like knocked out, just like. You don't have to agree, but you gotta bring logic to the table. You can't just say Nate Diaz is gonna take down prime Chuck Liddell when prime Chuck Liddell fought the best grapplers in the world. He been in the ring with him. John Jones will beat up, smack up, trip up, kick up any player, fighter, whatever. Back in the days, nowadays, tomorrow days, would smack them all around. They will have no chance against him. See, back then it used to be tournament style. I like the tournament style. You fight all your fights in one night. You fight 3 fights a night. Now everybody complaining about one fight. Well, the reason why is because in the tournament, people would break their hands. And there was no promotion really for one fighter at the time. Hoyce Gracie, they basically was the promoters of this and put this event together. And the event was just to really showcase how great the Gracies were. That's what the UFC really was about. They promoted it and they sponsored it too, to just put this tournament together, and we're gonna show what Hoyce Gracie could do to all the martial artists around the world. And that's what it was for like 3 years. 3-4 years, Hoyce Gracie was dominating everybody because he was legitimately the best pound for pound fighter in the world. Hoyce Gracie was that guy. He was fighting guys 300 pounds, and he's only like 170 and was whooping them. Chuck Liddell versus John Jones. Chuck Liddell would knock out John Bones Jones. He will be a skeleton in the ring, cold. He'd have took that hit of that raw. He'd be laid out cold. If you talking about prime Chuck, mm-mm. Nope. Nobody knew jiu-jitsu. Do you know? Did you just hear me say Hoyce Gracie? Are you out your mind? Do you know what Hoyce Gracie comes from? Gracie G. They have a system named after them. They have a system named after them. Gracie Jiu Jitsu. It's named after the Brazilians. DeAndre's kid, that's when Chuck was at the end of his rope. That was when he's at the end of the run. No other martial artist knew jiu-jitsu. Wrong. Ichihara was a Japanese jiu-jitsu fighter. Jiu-jitsu has always been in this sport. Stop with the lies. Do you know where MMA comes from? The word MMA? You got stupid idiots like Dana White who don't know and try to call mixed martial arts. Mixed martial arts mean that's mean when you're training and you're learning some jiu-jitsu with some wrestling and some boxing, and then you put some kung fu. That's mixed martial arts. That's a sport. That's what MMA is. Is that what MMA is? That's what MMA is, right? I'm asking you. You guys are UFC MMA fans. Is that MMA? I want to know. Is that MMA to you? Somebody said yes. Mixed martial arts. And what does that mean? MMA means mixed martial arts. What does it mean? Yep, I know about Cedric motorcycle. I'm gonna talk about it in a video. I knew of him. I never met him, but being with the Bears and everything. Now, let's get to the explanation. You guys have been told what MMA was your entire life. MMA means mixed martial arts. When someone tells you they're studying mixed martial arts, they're studying MMA, I'll be like, what is that? Do you know that there is no such thing as mixed martial arts? When someone say they're studying mixed martial arts, you just look at them and just say, no, you're not. You're studying fighting because there's no such thing as mixed martial arts fighting. The word mixed martial arts come from the tournament. Okay? It was a tournament of different styles. That's why it was called a mixed martial arts tournament, MMA. I made a video about it. That is correct because people are very unaware. I'll just say unaware because they don't go back to the beginning of this. It was called a mixed martial arts tournament because you had people from different arts in one tournament to determine which art was the best. You had somebody who did Kempo. You had a Kung Fu guy. You had a wrestling guy. You had a Greco wrestling. You had Jiu-Jitsu. You had every type of form of martial arts in there. That's why it was called a mixed martial arts tournament. There's no such thing as training MMA, mixed martial arts. It's a combination of this and this. Somebody just made that up because they were stupid and didn't know what it meant. So it is just a combination of different arts of fighting and striking. That's what they're teaching you. It's dumb. And it combinates from a dumb promoter named Dana White. Whop! MMA! You know, that big dummy. Did he ever slip on a lottery ticket? It helps to have billionaire friends. Thoughts on Zuffa boxing? When you see a Zuffa boxer, let me know. Let me know. No, all martial arts are formed from different forms of martial arts. They come up with a system based on that. Juke Kendo, that system is based from Taekwondo and some of Wing Chun. Wing Chun was a based of a martial arts, came from another one of straight kung fu and actual grapple, what they call wrestling. It's not a mix of every style. It's another system where you can incorporate to make your own. All of martial arts are that way. Don't you get it? They all of these martial arts have these same systems in place. If you do a spinning back kick, what system is that? That could be taekwondo, that could be kempo, that could be any type of system there is. Do you understand that? If you do an axe kick, that could be kempo, that could be taekwondo, that could be in different systems. So when you say you're learning mixed martial arts, it just means that you're confused and you're just learning striking. Combination of grappling and striking. That's it. You're not learning a system. The man who knew karate came in and was knocking guys out with one punch, Machida. Why? Because he studied a system of martial arts called karate. And he was knocking people out and injuring them because he's a real martial artist. He was never supposed to get this far in the sport, beating guys that was bigger than him. Well, when you had talent in the division and you didn't promote him, and you were promoting the Baywatch characters of Sage Northcutt because he could do backflips. He was from Southern California. He had the abs. He had the look. And then you got Paige Van Zandt. You're thinking ratings. That's what the UFC start. Once they start getting into the ratings game, that was it. If you watch their special, they tell you how they almost went bankrupt. Dana White almost blew the whole thing in London, trying to promote in London, when London is about boxing. Okay, they love boxing over there. To transform over to UFC is a bit of a blow for them. Coffee and Kush. That sounds like a great show. Never heard of them, though. I'm a black belt in Nintendo. I had the game Black Belt on Nintendo. What do you think about Brock? What I didn't think nothing about him. He was a WWE showpiece that came over here and they put him in easy fights so he could win. He made me a lot of money. I knew Cain Velasquez would do what he did to him. Brock is a big punk. Take the roids out of his body, he can't do anything. And now he can't. You must forget Machida. He put Rashad into a folded up pretzel. Yeah, Machida got beat by John Jones. John Jones is a much bigger guy, and he's a martial artist too. He studied jujitsu. Don't you get it? The people that study an art dominate the sport. I mean, look, that's just how it goes. John Jones wins because he studies a system of martial arts. Anderson Silva, they studied Brazilian jiu-jitsu their entire lives. Anderson Silva walking through the division. Why is that so? Because they're not sitting there studying MMA and doing this on the mat. No, they've been studying a system they've been taught their entire lives. That's why you got all these guys, one fight they win, the next fight they out there confused. Look at me. Look at me. Wake up. Wake up. It's over. And you don't have no real champions. No, Shogun just caught Machida. Shogun was going to lose that fight. But you see how Rashad got folded up like a pretzel and went to sleep messing with Machida. So listen, I'm gonna tell you, Machida that's a bad boy. You don't mess with a martial artist. Athleticism plus skill. He's a skilled striker. He's not some basketball player just out there doing this. He's actually skilled. He's skilled with striking. His inside strikes break you down. He throws punches. He throws a punch. He'll grab your wrist, pull you right into a elbow to your face. Have you seen that done really by a lot of people? It's not athleticism. It's skill. He's trained in an art form to know how to fight on the inside. I told people Amanda Nunes was the real deal. Nobody believed me. And now everybody, man, Amanda. I'm like, sit down. Everybody who know MMA knew. I knew. Even Joe Rogan knew. Everybody knew what would happen if Ronda Rousey was to ever fight Amanda Nunes. They were keeping her away to protect her. And what happened? And don't forget to hit the like button, people. You guys have been here. We almost been here an hour straight. I'm giving y'all an hour straight. And don't forget, too, to hit the Cash App up and donate to the page. Carcino's the name on the Cash App. Or click the link in the description box. That's the super chat. We keep it going. Shogun is a Muay Thai fighter. Yep. That's what I'm saying. These are guys. These were real fighters. Now you got all these guys who are blown up that Dana White's trying to get ratings over, bringing in CM Punk, all these WWE fighters. He's making a mockery of the UFC. And he's thinking he can make anybody a star. Like, I made Brock Lesnar champion. And look at the ratings Brock did. Brock is a steroid head junkie punk. And once he got in there and they took all that stuff out of him, they beat it out of him. He quit. Quick, fast, in a hurry. They took him to the ground, pounded him, and he was out of there. They was like, man, you got to give Brock credit for getting in there. I give him credit. He's a big dude. He's in the ring. Yeah, I give him credit to get a check, to show up and do nothing. He made me a lot of money because I'm like, oh, he's finna lose. And I'm going to find the right fight for him to lose. I bet the fight against him and Shane Carwin. I bet on Shane Carwin to knock him out. I said, I'm betting on Shane Carwin to knock him out. And Shane Carwin almost pulled it off. He was actually out. But you know what happened? They continued the fight. They let the fight go and let Shane Carwin punch himself out. Brock was basically out. Normally today, they would have stopped that fight. Go back and watch the Shane Carwin fight again. Think I'm lying. That fight was over. And they just let the fight go. Shane Carwin thinking like, well, when they going to stop it? I'm just throwing all the punches. He was dead tired by the next round. All Brock had to do was fall on Shane Carwin. So, listen. They protect the people they want. But there have been many fighters. You had Robbie Lawyer. You had all these great, talented fighters that were coming up, putting on great matches. All these guys who was out there was going. And what do you have? This idiot Dana White who still don't know what he's doing. He accidentally fell into Ronda Rousey. Why? Because he had his shot and didn't want it. Well, I told you, you'll never see women fight in the UFC. Who wants to see women beat up on each other? Nobody wants to say that. Yeah, that's why you'll never see it in the UFC. Yo, Strike Force, if they want to go ahead and put that kind of that type of thing on and think people are going to watch women beat up women, who wants to watch that? Well, people wanted to watch it, Dana. And MMA fans out there, MMA fans in the world wanted to see it. They built the sport not around Ronda Rousey. They built the female sport up around Gina Carano. Gina Carano was their glamour piece. She was the beautiful girl with the big boobs, and she was doing a karate. She had a Mr. Miyagi trainer. Everything was wonderful for Strike Force. They did huge numbers every time she had a fight. Then what happened? She fought Cyborg and got destroyed. But they had a female fighter on there called Ronda Rousey. And Rowdy Rousey, she did this armbar thing and she won, and everybody was getting around Ronda. And Dana said, well, Strike Force really got a thing there. We need to try to buy them out right now because they really got something with these females wrestling. You know what? I saw that Misha Tate fight with Ronda Rousey. I think I want to buy that fight. I want to buy Strike Force, and I'm going to bring them over. Yep. That's what I think we need to do. We're going to make women fighting. It's going to all be all about Ronda Rousey. She's going to bring women fighting back. Yeah, I did say women would never fight in the UFC, but then I met Ronda Rousey. You didn't meet her. You bought out Strike Force, and she was already fighting over there. UFC went over there and bought out Strike Force, closed them down, and then came out and act like they discovered Ronda Rousey. Fool, you didn't. You had no idea. You had the chance to be ahead of it, but you didn't get ahead of it because all you thought about was the dollars. And what happened? That's why I tell the people all the time, what happened after that? You put her in all these cupcake matches. You poured millions of dollars in promotion. Over $10 million of marketing went into Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey got A-list stuff plus the bedroom stuff. We won't mention that. Slept her way to the top. But let me manage your career and you're gonna make millions. So her sleeping around with him, next thing you know, Ronda's out. She's like, I slept with worse. So now at least she got a career out of it. Here comes all this promotion into Ronda. Ronda. To stupid people start believing she could probably beat Floyd Mayweather. Look, Ronda and Floyd, I'm like, it was becoming so bad. Stupid people were walking around saying it. She was, but look, in MMA though, I mean, like in Chinese checkers, in one arm wrestling, in no world, shape, or form, and she beating Floyd Mayweather. And she getting outside of herself because she's believing the headline. She's believing she's the number one most feared person in combat sports. Bad idea. Bad. Now, before she fought Holly Holm, she had just sparred with Holly Lawson. Holly Lawson, I know her. I have an autograph in there from Holly Lawson when she sent me there. I got Holly Lawson her fights. I helped her book her fights. That's what I did. I helped her book like 2 of her last fights that she had. Now she trains celebrity women, get them in shape. She trained the girl from Gone Girl, the lead lady, the psycho woman in the movie Gone Girl. Holly got her in shape for that movie. Cino never lies. Cino never lies. Cino never lies. Cino never lies. That's Holly Lawson. That's the Holly Little Bear Lawson. And what does it says? Carcino, you're the best. Best in the world. Because of what I did. Now, this Holly was brought in to spar with yours truly, Ronda Rousey, to get her ready to fight Holly Holm, because Holly Holm is a boxer. So they brought in Holly Lawson to spar with her. Holly is taller than Holly Holm. She has a longer reach, and she can box. Now, let's get into the gist of what happened here. I made a YouTube video before the fight with Holly Holm to tell you she already lost to Holly Lawson. Holly was like, oh my God, Carcino, she can't box. She's in trouble. She told me she's in trouble. She's like, I can't make a video or talk about it out there because they're really nervous about anybody talking about her boxing and everything else. But she's like, this girl don't know nothing about boxing. Nothing. She said she's in trouble. She's like, she better hope that she can just grab Holly and get home and get her to the ground, because she said Holly Holm finds out that she cannot box in the ring, and that's when you find out. And that's the truth. You find out when another person can't box in the ring. And when you find that out, it's all day. Anything you want to get, you can get. And she knew it. And she's like, everything I threw, I hit her with. Everything. She's like, she didn't know when it was coming. She didn't know anything. She didn't pick up a sign of the feints. She's like, sometimes I wouldn't even feint. She couldn't even get out of the way. And she was like, oh my God, I'm going light on you. If I was going hard on you, you would be knocked out. And that's what she was worried, like trying to teach Holly, like, I mean, Ronda, but Ronda didn't want her coaches and training was like, oh, you did good. This is a good one. Man, you took some shots. You're tough, Ronda. They just building Ronda's mind up, and Ronda's believing like she's getting better. And they were like, they setting up for disaster, because she's like, she's not getting good. That wasn't good. This was bad, but I'll just take the money, so that's that. So I tried to warn people, like, look, they trying to show, because they were talking about Cyborg's a striker and Amanda Nunes is a striker. They wanted to show what Ronda would do against a striker like Holly Holm. They were supposed to fight Amanda Nunes. That's who was supposed to get the fight. But they went past Amanda Nunes and grabbed Holly Holm, thinking that was the safer fight. Like, we beat Holly Holm and show them what, let Ronda get experience fighting a boxer, somebody who's a boxing champion, and we'll shut all these people up about Ronda couldn't box. But they found out is Holly Holm looked like Floyd Mayweather out there. Dip, stick. Oh, right hand over the top, crack. Oh, everything was landing. The bank was open. And Ronda just kept running in there in a state of panic. Crack. Oh, she had no idea. She was in another world. She didn't know what was going on. The leg kick was just the exclamation point. She was out already just from the boxing and the punching. Them jabs, stick, right hand, stick. I don't think Holly missed a punch in the entire fight. That's how bad it was. It was like whatever she wanted, she got. She figured out early on in the fight, Ronda Rousey can't box, and she's trying to box with me or stand in the stance like she's going to box and strike with me. Oh, no. That's right, the Larry King mic, baby. Man, she figured it out right away. She started setting the traps. Holly was giving her that little leg stamp. I'm gonna go on over here and pivot a little bit, see what she got. She ain't got nothing. Faint, stick, crack. Soon as she came in the kill zone, and the kill zone means I could strike you. I'm already in the spot where my foot is in the zone of where I'm supposed to. I got the advantage where I can get my offense off before you can. So that's normally, they call that the spot in the ring. You want to try to beat your opponent to that spot in the ring because you're at the advantage where you're waiting on them instead of them waiting on you, and everything else. So the person who normally gets that spot normally has the first advantage, especially if you're fast and you can get to that spot before anybody else in the ring. It's very, useful for you. And for her, she set it all up. Leg kicks were there, everything. She didn't want to touch gloves. Her ego was too high. And then when she lost, her ego couldn't take the loss. She didn't know how. And most people cannot accept defeat. We saw it happen with Ronda Rousey. We saw it happen all around the globe. We saw it. Hey, a lot of people saw a lot of things. But I'm going to get out of here, man. I want to see y'all support, man. I want to see some of y'all click that link in the description box, man. Hit up the Streamlab. And then when next time we go live or something, you guys leave a number or something. And if you donate to the page, leave a number. Talk about what you want to talk about. We come over here live. We can call you guys up and you could be a part of the show. We can have a debate. GSP is a coward. That's all he is, a Canadian coward. Don't ever bring GSP name up, cheater. He's scared of John Jones. And I want the whole world to know that GSP is scared of John Jones. Whenever that fight was brought up, he was scared. He know he was going to lose to John Jones. He don't want that. He would rather not fight. Ariana was brought there because she was sleeping with Dana. I mean, that's what she does. She's one of those women. I mean, if you had an opportunity to be with a wrestler or somebody who owns the company, who you think she gonna go for? I mean, Dana does this every night. It's the Dana White special. Can't get mad at him for that.